Hi everyone, and welcome to our MSc Advanced Physiotherapy Practice webinar. Welcome from wherever you are in the world, whatever time it is. We hope you enjoy this informative session. My name is Hannah Davis. I am the Marketing Manager for the School of Health and Life Sciences. Today we are joined by Dr. Artaban Jeldi, who is the Advanced Physiotherapy Practice Programme Lead, and Michelle Rutherford, who is our Programme Lead for MSc Advanced Practice. They will be delivering a short presentation, after which there will be the opportunity to ask any questions you may have. Please feel free throughout to post any questions in the public chat, and we'll do our best to answer as best as possible. We also have Claire Nicoll here, who is our Recruitment Manager focusing on Pakistan and India. So she will be able to answer any country-specific questions you may have throughout as well. We hope you enjoy the session. I'll hand over to Michelle just now. And also just a mention that this session will be recorded so that we can send it out to you afterwards, so you have all the information in detail there. Okay, thanks.
Thanks very much, Hannah, for that lovely introduction. Welcome everyone, we're delighted to have you here with us today. As Hannah's mentioned, my name is Michelle Rutherford and I'm accompanied by my colleague Dr. Artaban Jeldi. Just going to briefly hand over to Artaban to introduce himself first before we come back to me. So Artaban, would you like to say a few words?
Hello there, hi. Hello to everybody who's here. My name is Artaban Jeldi. I'm one of the lecturers and also I'm the program director for the MSc Advanced Physio Practice. That is your program, which you're going to shortly join. I've been in this country for 14 years, came in 2009 and did my PhD here and worked with the NHS for a while before starting my job as a lecturer in this university. It's been 4 years since I've been here. I specialize in MSK, orthopedics, and I am interested in low back, knee, and a lot of other things which you'll get to know when you're here. And also I've got a few publications. So I will be your point man, if you may call me, for anything and everything with regard to your studies when you join here. And I'm eagerly awaiting and waiting to, with bated breath, to see you all. Thank you, and I'll come back later and talk to you again.
Great, thank you very much, Artaban. You'd be in safe hands joining us here at GCU with Artaban as your programme director. I am the Programme Director of the MSc Advanced Practice Programme. I was formerly in Artaban's role as the Advanced Physio Practice Programme, and we work jointly together across our Advanced Practice suite of programmes in the Department of Physio and Paramedicine here at GCU. A bit about me personally, I'm a senior lecturer here. My interests and my teaching commitments surround neurological rehabilitation, advanced leadership, and I'm particularly passionate about psychologically informed practice. And this forms the focus of my own PhD research, in which I'm investigating the impact of basically psychologically informed training that we implement in our undergraduate programme, and whether that does or doesn't change physiotherapy professional practice. So I'm really passionate about valuing mental and physical health equally. Prior to joining GCU 7 years ago, I worked for a number of years in the NHS, latterly as a specialist physiotherapist and community physiotherapy manager. So that is my background. I then joined GCU again in 2011 to do my own MSc, so I've been where you are now and considering my master's studies, and I can genuinely say hand on heart, it's the best thing I've ever done. No education is ever wasted, so please join us here at GCU for your master's. So a huge welcome, thank you for coming along today, thank you to those who are listening into the recording after the session. I'm going to start off telling you a little bit about GCU and our particular team in the Department of Physiotherapy and Paramedicine, and then I'll hand over to Artaban, who will talk specifically about your programme MSc Advanced Physiotherapy Practice. So our general team in our department, we have a number of professors, senior lecturers, clinical academics and researchers within our team. So we have a growing team and a very diverse team with lecturers from all across the world. So we're very proud of the diversity within our team here at GCU. And the majority of us have teaching qualifications and either hold fellowship or senior fellowship of what was formerly the Higher Education Academy here in the UK. It's now known as Advanced HE. So as part of our training here, we get to do our postgraduate teaching certificates here, just to ensure we're providing a good quality educational experience for you all. A little bit about the 4 professors I mentioned there. I'm aware that our professors are known globally, so you may wish to know a little bit more about who you may get the opportunity to learn from here at GCU. So the first professor I'm going to discuss today is my colleague, Professor Frederik van Wyk. And Fred is a Professor of Neurological Rehabilitation at the Institute for Applied Health Research and the School of Health and Life Sciences. Her main interests are surrounding motor control, particularly in upper limb rehabilitation, particularly in those who have had a stroke, but also in other long-term neurological conditions. Fred has some guest lectures within some of our modules, particularly our neuro rehab module, and she also supervises some of our dissertations as well. So you may get the opportunity to meet Professor Fred in your journey with us at GCU. Another one of our professors you may be aware of is Professor Dawn Skelton. Professor Skelton's research is particularly in older adults, and her PhD is in human and applied physiology. Dawn speaks a lot at conferences across the world and also on television and on radio. She's quite often requested to come and speak about her research, and she's received fellowship from the Royal College of Physicians in Edinburgh and honorary fellowship from the Chartered Society of Physio here in the UK. So again, you may get the opportunity to learn from or work alongside Dawn. The next professor on our team is my colleague Professor Lorna Paul. Lorna's studies and her work is focusing particularly on neurological rehabilitation, particularly in managing multiple sclerosis, but she's also very involved in technology and technology-supported rehabilitation and self-management. And I'm sure she's currently undertaking a project out in Ghana at the moment, looking at tele-rehabilitation for people with neurological illness. So again, has those global connections. And last but not least, I've got my colleague, Professor Sebastian Chastan. Seb is a Professor of Health Behaviour Dynamics. He's also known globally for his research, and it focuses on the dynamics of health behaviour in relation to ageing, places and systems. Seb regularly works with our students, in particular dissertation students, and he has been investigating really interesting projects such as the benefits of living near a canal or a green space where people can exercise and improve their mental health. So he is very passionate about looking at health behaviours in relation to overall health and physical activity levels. So these are just some of the researchers that you might get the chance to work with here, in addition to all of us in the teaching teams who are also there to support and help your studies. I put this slide up now to reassure you that there is plenty of support available for you here at GCU. In addition to Artaban's expert support and care of you all on the programme, you will also be assigned a personal tutor. And this is someone that you can come and speak to about your academic studies, any issues at all within your kind of personal, professional lives. We can certainly signpost you to other sources of support and help, but you will be assigned your own personal tutor who you can meet with each trimester. The module team staff will always have a module lead, often a deputy module lead, and you'll have your tutors within that module who can help you. We hope that you will get to know people within your year group, and will then have sources of peer support to help you, and that again can be social as well as professional, you know, so that you can actually have a little bit of fun here as well in Glasgow, not just all the hard work on your programme. We have other sorts of interactive technology we can use, like Padlets and discussion boards where you can post any questions or queries that you have. We have an award-winning Learning and Development Centre here, and that team presents sessions throughout our induction sessions that we run for you, but they also have one-to-one and drop-in sessions where you can go along and get support and guidance for your academic skills and your academic writing. There is support also for English language, particularly using English for academic purposes, which we know can be a challenge. We have a really supportive library team as well that are there to help you and support you, and an excellent student wellbeing team there to look after your kind of mental and physical health. So lots of sources of information. If you have some spare time, we have our Students' Association, which you'd be very welcome to attend and join. Our GCU Physio Society as well, for physio students across all of our programmes at GCU. Clubs and societies, all sorts of sports clubs, different types of hobbies that you might have. In fact, I'm sure this year Artaban students set up their own cricket club, because we had a cricket club years ago, and it had disbanded due to low numbers. But this year again, the students were so keen to start a cricket club that they set up their own cricket club. So hopefully, if you're interested in cricket, that will still be going, and you'd be more than welcome to join. But we've got all sorts of other sports. And last but not least, I mentioned Sir Alex Ferguson, because we renamed our library the Sir Alex Ferguson Library in 2019, I think. And this was in response to the amount of work and support that Sir Alex Ferguson gives to our students here at the university. So hopefully from this slide, you can see just how much support there is here for you at GCU, and we're all here to ensure you have a positive experience with us. This slide is just summarising for you the different programmes that we have within our department. At the top two boxes are our pre-registration programmes, which you won't require because you'll already have your physiotherapy qualification. We also were the first in the UK to have a doctorate in physiotherapy programme. Might even have been the first in Europe, but I'm sure it's the first in UK. But the bottom right-hand corner with the ring round it here is the programme that you will be applying to here with us. And this is for you who is already a qualified physiotherapist. You can either do our programme full-time, which I think the majority of you plan to do, or over 3 years part-time. Okay, so I'll now hand you over to Artaban, who's going to spend some time talking specifically about your programme. Thank you for listening.
Yes, hello. Thank you for listening in again. So as I said, I'm Artaban Jeldi. I'm your program lead. I will be a program lead for sure. And this is just me talking about your modules in perspective. Like, I just want to give you some information about what you're expected to be learning in the next a year or so. So we've got 3 trimesters. A trimester is made of 3 months here. So it starts in September, October, November, and December. That's your first trimester. Then you have your second trimester starting in Feb, March, and April, and then your final trimester that starts in May, June, July, and by August you should be done. So in your first trimester, we've got your core subjects which you would be learning. Your core subjects are mainly to do with advancing physiotherapy practice and your advanced research method. These are the main core subjects, 30 credits each, and this is compulsory for both all the students to take part in. So you would have to go through this to get to the end of your degree. And then in trimester B, you've got optional modules. You are invited to select 2 optional modules. I'll give a list of the optional modules which we have. So these modules are 30 credits each again, so it'll be around 60 credits. And then finally, your dissertation, that's in trimester C. And this again will run first. This is 60 credit module, and you will be getting your own supervisor as well as a group of students whom you belong to, and you can bounce out ideas. So we will be explaining everything once you start your course. So with regard to the individual modules, your advancing physio practice module is a 30 credit module, as I was saying. This basically is based on the 4 pillars of practice, which we base the module on. So this facilitates development of qualified physios in knowledge, skills, and attributes in lines with the 4 pillars. And this is a quite essential module for you, and it is run by Dougie Laughlin. He's one of our senior lecturers here. He's quite experienced in this. And this kind of will lay the groundwork for you to experience what an advancing physiotherapist would look like in this country. So you would have to know that before you kind of progress. So that is what your main core aim is in this module. And this will enable your professional as well as your career development and help you through your career throughout as well. So your assessment here is a video assessment and a CPD portfolio, which you need to put forward, and you will be marked on it. The next module is the research module. So obviously you need to do a dissertation, which is 60 credits worth, and your dissertation is based on research principles. So before getting to that dissertation module, it is vital that you have the research principles in in check. So you will be going through these particular modules. This is a interdepartmental module. You've got around 800 students in them, including the MPH. So we will have separate classes for you as well. We'll divvy them up into small classes, and you will have your own module tutor. And you will be able to write a research proposal, learn more about qualitative, quantitative research in the aspect of physiotherapy, and how you can utilize journals to also do your coursework and so on. So this is an essential module. You need to definitely get through this particular module before going into dissertation. So these are your core modules. And then going into your trimester B, here are your optional modules. So we've kind of, the slide you see here, it divides the modules into 30 credit and 15 credit modules. So you need to choose 2 of them. Unfortunately, the left-hand side, which you see the 30 credit modules, you cannot choose every one of them. In the sense, you need to choose only one of them. You can't choose both together. That is, you can't choose, like, say, advancing MSK along with neurology. You need to choose either one of them. So we will give you a list of modules which you will be picking up from when you come here. But the main modules which you see here are the optional modules are human movement and analysis, MSK analysis, leadership, which Michelle is part of, advancing MSK practice, which I am part of, advancing practice in neurological rehabilitation, which Alison and Michelle are part of again, and clinical investigations. So you can choose one of these modules when you come to your optional. And also you have those 15 credit modules. So they are applied pathophysiology, supporting anticipatory care, social actions and approaches in public health, infection prevention and control in the global context, nutrition, lifestyle and management of diabetes, and the lower limb and foot in diabetes, evaluation of risk. So these are the few modules which are run in that particular trimester, which we have listed out here. Over the year, there are other modules as well, but you would not be able to nip into it because you can only choose from the modules which run in that particular trimester. So these are the few modules which run there. So that's what I'm put up there for. I will explain this in detail once you join in, so that you have a better understanding. But you see that there's a variety which you can choose and learn from. Okay. So that is to do with the optional module. And finally, you go into your dissertation module, which is a 60 credit module. You can either do, we usually, because of the time frame which you've got, that is, you've got only 3 months to complete this dissertation module, we usually advise students to go through the literature review route, or a systematic or structured literature review route, in which it can be qualitative or quantitative. And the topic is your choice in your own specialty, but we need to match that with your supervisor's line of work as well. So it will be around your choice, but obviously we will make sure that it matches more or less what you want to do. And the final output is to be a 6,000 worded 6,000 word article, like what you see in a journal. And you will also have a presentation which you need to do. So you're marked specifically. There's kind of a 70-30 split between the marking. And this is also essential for you to finally get your master's in advancing professional practice. So this is what you would have to do to reach the end of your master's program. Obviously, in between, we do also have CPD opportunities for all you students. So we bring in speakers from the NHS and the independent sector and the private sector. They come and talk on their own specific topics, as in what they specialized in. We have clinical topics as well, which they do. We have generic topics like how to go about applying for a visa, how to apply for an interview, how to do academic writing. So these are the few things which we also dwell in, and these are all free for you. And you will be getting a certificate at the end of the CPD hour certificate, which is useful for your portfolio. So it's not just a waste of your time, if I may put it. And there are lots of other things which we do as well, which are beneficial for you, which you will, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag here because I want it to be a surprise for you. So that is the reason I am kind of holding back a little bit of the information here. So that is to do with your continuing professional development opportunities. And also, finally, we've got a very robust visa team here, which helps you and guides you with visa issues and processes. Obviously, you all would know that there is a post-study work visa, touchwood still active, for 2 years. So you will be able to apply for this, and we will be able to help you and give you some information as to how to go about doing this. So that's to kind of, in a nutshell, to give you the information as to what you are getting into. And I and Michelle are open for any questions you may have just now. I see from the chat there are a lot of students from India, Pakistan, Nigeria, Ghana. So welcome all. I can talk in your lingo if you want me to as well, but I'm stopping myself. I'll talk in your lingo when you come here. I am from Tamil Nadu, India. If you're guessing as to bothering as to where I am from, that's where I am from. Any questions?
There's a couple of questions, Artaban. I can certainly answer the question about how many days a week would we expect to be on campus. So this depends on the modules you undertake. But I would say, you know, a minimum of 2 days, just thinking about the modules that you will undertake. There will be on-campus classes for advanced research methods, a day a week, and there'll be on-campus classes for advancing professional practice. So there will be 2 days a week that you'd be required to be on campus. And there are a number of hours of work expected for each module. So there's activities, there's podcasts, there's presentations, there's journal articles to read. So there's lots of work that you'd be working away yourself, but there will be at least 2 days in trimester A that you'd be on campus. In terms of trimester B, it will depend on your optional modules, but as far as I'm aware, the majority all have an on-campus requirement as well. So again, it's likely to be a minimum of 2 days a week in trimester B as well. You'd be expected to travel to campus and to attend campus, but there's additional hours of work expected out with that time as well. Artaban, there's a question about the MSK module.
Yes,
Do you want
so
to
with
answer
regard
that?
to yes, Raksha Halagi, I think you wanted me to ask you about, sorry, Rashma Akbar. So with regard to the MSK module, we've mainly concentrate on the spinal column. So we have a 12-week module which talks about advancing practice in the spinal column. So we've got Emma Jane Murchie, who is the program lead for it, and we mainly deal with anything to do with the spine. So we don't do the peripheries right now because we don't have the capacity and the manpower to cover that. So we talk about the cervical, the thoracic, and the lumbar region, including cervical SI joint. We talk about pain pathways a lot. So you will be working on pain management as well. Along with that, we will be bringing in external professors to talk to you about Pilates and certain additional upcoming methods, techniques of treatment as well. So it's mainly spinal MSK assessment and rehab. And at the end of the day, end of the 12-week module, your assessment will be based on case studies, 3 case studies, which we'll be giving you. And you will have to, we will pick one of it and we will have a viva voice for you to explain to me and to my team as to what you would be doing with that particular patient. So that is the MSK module. There is another human assessment, human rehabilitation module, but that is to do with the analysis. So it's not to do with rehab. So that's pure clinical assessment, and it's more biomechanical based, where you'll be using EMT analysis, gait rehab to assess a patient, more peripheral joints basically, but there will not be much of a rehabilitation associated with that. That is the human rehab and analysis module. So that is your answer, Ramsha. And do we get to work in a hospital during the course of practice? No. This is a post-stage module. Yes, you're all physiotherapists, but placements are only for students who are training to be physios. So since you're already physios, you will not be getting any placement types here. However, once you come here, you can potentially approach hospitals here. We will give you some details and information about it. And there is anecdotal evidence from the current batch and the previous batch that you would be allowed to observe for a week or so and gain knowledge as to what happens in an actual NHS hospital here. That will be useful for your future employment as well. Will we have a lot of assignments and quizzes? Do you want to have lots of assignments and quizzes? We can arrange for that. But obviously, each of your module towards the end, you will have a coursework which you need to complete. That will be either a Viva, either a presentation, either a CPD portfolio, or a 6,000 word coursework write-up. So assignment and quizzes depends on individual modules. For MSK, I don't think we do have it. We don't treat you as BScs, you are MScs, you are professionals. So according to that, we will be moderating our evaluations as well.
Okay, I will answer the neuro question, but just before that, just going back to reiterate, I think Carol mentioned about placements, that as Artaban said, because it's not a pre-registration programme, we don't have set placement modules. What I would say, we get asked this every year, so we understand that people are very keen to get the experience working in the UK. But remember that you can apply for roles, even if initially you're waiting for your HCPC registration to allow you to work as a physiotherapist in the UK. You can apply for roles as healthcare and rehabilitation support workers within the NHS. So Artaban and I, as part of the professional development series, will speak to you about interviews and applying for jobs, and where to find information and applying for jobs in Scotland. So quite a lot of our students in the past have gone on to get jobs as rehabilitation support workers, which you don't need registration for, and that allows you to get the chance to work within NHS in the UK whilst waiting for your HCPC. And then once you get HCPC, usually the health boards are really keen to keep you because they already know you and they've trained you up, and then you can then move into qualified physiotherapist roles. So rather than thinking about work experience as such as part of a module, I think it might be a good idea to look for a part-time role within the NHS. So in terms of visa regulations, and also because it's a full-time course, we wouldn't advise working any more than 20 hours. I'm sure 20 hours is the maximum you're allowed to work in terms of visa. I would suggest working still a little bit less than that, because remember, this is a full-time programme, but you could certainly take on a part-time role within the NHS to gain that experience prior to getting HCPC registration. And we do have some classes round about how you would go about doing that, and then interviews and things as well. And we have had lots of success in this. We've had lots of students getting jobs, and also lots getting HCPC registration and working as physiotherapists in the UK before they're even finished their programme. So we do have a good track record. We're not officially affiliated with the HCPC, I should say, because we're not a pre-registration programme, but we do help you to work through the application process. So we do our best to help you. Moving on then to the question about the neuro rehab module. I think that was the next one, so I can answer that. So this is a brand new module we've developed looking at advancing practices in neuro rehab. So we're planning to have a kind of masterclass format. It's likely to be on a Wednesday each week. We're just finalising the times for 3 hours, and there will be a kind of keynote speaker of the week in particular topics, such as long-term conditions management, spasticity management. I do a session on psychologically informed practice, all the different pathologies such as multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, stroke, traumatic brain injury, etc. But it's very focused on what is the current evidence that's out there for treatments, what are the outcome measures you should use. So we really are hoping to advance your knowledge and awareness of advancing practices in neurological rehabilitation. We have a whole range of patient videos that we use to allow you to analyse patient movement and to just increase your awareness of the evidence base that is out there. Because this is masters and masters level, a lot of what we are doing is getting you to explore the evidence and critique the evidence that's there. And the final assessment for our module is going to be a presentation, and it's a case study based presentation. So you'll get to select from a range of case studies, and you're going to present your evidence on that case study. So, but we will give you lots of support and lots of practice throughout the module to help you work towards that. But we don't have an essay, we have a presentation. But it will be giving you the chance to learn from experts in the field in a variety of topics on advancing neurological rehabilitation. And we're really, really looking forward to getting up and running. And we've got a clinical academic, Alison Barclay. Alison's just finished her PhD, so she's nearly Dr. Alison Barclay. So Alison works 2 days with us and 3 days as an advanced practitioner in neurological rehabilitation at one of our really big hospitals in Glasgow called the Queen Elizabeth University Hospital. So delighted to have Alison on board. And Professor Fred Van Wyk and Professor Lorna Paul that I mentioned earlier are also involved in our module too. And I think I've answered Pruta's question as well about describing advanced neuro. Super. And our clinical practice is only clinical, or we have visits to... Okay, so Ali, similar to what Artaban mentioned, we don't actually have clinical placement modules because you're all qualified physiotherapists, but we do have a range of contacts. A lot of the folks that work with, particularly Dougie Laughlin, who is involved with your Advancing Physio Practice module or Advancing Professional Practice module, has a lot of contacts within our sports club, particularly our football clubs across Scotland. So I do think there may be opportunities for you yourself to contact some of these contacts to try and get some volunteering or some observational practice. So we can't set it up for you, but we can certainly give you some contacts to try to, to contact yourself. We've certainly got plenty of links within our team to sport and to also international sport. I'm sure Emma Jane has as well, and Emma Jane is going to teach your MSK module.
A lot of our undergraduate students and our MSc pre-registration students approach football clubs themselves and get placements. Like they can get a 6-week placement, a 4-week placement, but you guys can't actually, you are physios, right? So you won't be able to get these placements, but you can get an observational placement. You can go and have a look as to what's happening, interact with the physios there. So we've got Rangers, we've got Celtic, we've got Hibs, we've got where else? Aberdeen, a few other football clubs where students have gone up to, and also the rugby clubs around here, athletic clubs around here. So they've got plenty of opportunities. You just need to find the right person to talk to. That's all it is. But we as a university do not provide clinical placements at all for registered physiotherapists. And just to add to, just came to my mind, we have these CPD programs which we conduct where experts come from the clinical field to come and talk to you about scenarios and case studies. And obviously you can probe them as well. They will explain as to how situations are here, how things are done here. So you can probe them for placement or exposures as well. So there are plenty of opportunities for you, is what I'm trying to say.
There's also a career service here at GCU as well to get the opportunity to speak to careers advisors and also volunteering opportunities. I know often people are looking for paid opportunities, but there are a number of charity organisations that we can direct you to if you are looking for the opportunity to volunteer to gain experience as well. So there are a range of opportunities. So Ramsha, most of our classes are in the Govan Mbeki building, which is the health building, which is the building that looks a little bit like a spaceship, kind of round front to it. So certainly our practical classes are all in the Govan Mbeki building. But depending on which optional modules you choose, for example, advanced leadership, we're over in a different building within the university. But it's all quite self-contained on our campus in Glasgow, so it's not like you have to travel across the city to go to a different building. It's all within walking distance. And thank you, Claire. Claire's posted the link to the careers service at GCU. That's great. Thank you, Claire. So please access there for some information on careers. And I know that the careers team are very keen to speak to students, not just at the end of their journey, but even at the start of your journey to help you plan towards what you might want to do when you graduate from us. Are there any other final questions before we finish up? Anything else you would like to ask us?
I think that looks like all the questions have been asked. Unless there's any other final questions. Nope. Okay, well, I think we will say a big thank you to Michelle and Artaban for that really insightful session. Thank you to you both. And thanks for answering all of the questions that came on the back of your presentations. Oh, sorry, I see another question. I will bow out from Lakita.
Yep, Lakita, I think Artaban, are you going to answer this one? Sorry, I jumped in there. Do you want to go?
Nikita, about separate tutors assigned, we have personal tutors, individual personal tutors assigned for each student. They will take care of your well-being. They'll take care of your any issues which you have. But with regard to modules, you will have a module leader and a group tutor where you can potentially contact them for any questions you may have. So there is potentially quite a big cover. And if you're finding it difficult, you have me. You can come to me straight, and I will see to it that you get somebody assigned or taken care of. Like, you can ask questions basically. So there is a lot of support. So as I said, the personal tutors will take care of you. They are your first line of contact, kind of. So they will help you, and they are individualized. They are not group. Okay, so you'll have enough time to do that. I listen.
Anushka, you've mentioned about the book list or a reading list. So each module will have kind of key textbooks or key papers, but it's very specific to those individual modules. So we don't have a general book list. And what I would also say is obviously textbooks are very expensive, and we try our very best here at GCU to make sure the vast majority of our information is available electronically via our GCU library. So once you're registered, and you've got your username and password, you will have access to the GCU library site and a whole range of electronic resources that you can view online for free. Or if you're on campus in Glasgow, we have a whole range of textbooks you can go in and borrow if you want a physical copy. But I wouldn't worry just yet about a specific reading list. Once you're registered and join the programme, you'll be able to start seeing your module sites, and on the module sites there'll be a little bit more guidance about any specific reading they would like you to do for each week. So please don't worry just now about having to buy any textbooks, because I know they're very expensive.
With regard to Shruti's question, I still use my Caroline Kistner and Cynthia Hawkins. So they are available, they are useful, and Sullivan as well. So, but obviously you will have a specific reading list, as Michelle was saying, and also there are lots of journals which you need to look at, not just the books. So these Indian books which you are referring to will be useful, but those books are based on journals and articles. Those are the ones which are key for your success here. Thank you, Ali. I hope we live up to our expectations and your expectations as well. You will definitely have a good time here. Mark my words.
Final point from me then is just that we will, if you're joining us here, we will have induction sessions. These happen the week before term starts for us, but we will contact you about that. And I think the week before that, there's an international induction week. So the university will be communicating this information to you, but Artaban and I will see you in our induction sessions, and we will again get a chance to speak to you, hopefully in person on campus, and we'll talk you through the programme again and who to turn to for additional help. But we hope to see you all in September. It would be great to have you with us.
How will the exams take place?
So there's a range, Mahek, as Artaban said there, you know, either it's a coursework at the end of a module, each 12-week block, you will have a piece of assessment. there's courseworks, there's vivas, so spoken exams, there's presentations, there's sometimes multiple choice questions depending on the module that you undertake. So you will have a piece of assessment for each module that you undertake. So it'll be the end of each 12-week block. And then obviously your dissertation takes place over trimester C from May to, and you submit in August, as Artaban mentioned. So we don't actually have any formal exams where you would all come in and sit in the one room. It's pieces of individualised pieces of coursework or presentations.
Ria's question. When can we make a choice between MSK and Neuro? We will be sending out a Teams form, MS forms quite shortly, once we finalize the number of students who are coming in, and then you can give in your preferences at that point. If we are delayed by some reason, when you guys come in here during the first trimester over the first 2 weeks, we will get that sorted as well. So that's how it is, Ria. And obviously, as you rightly point out, you have to make a choice between MSK and Neuro. You can't do both at the same time.
So Mahek, the first day of term officially, I think, is the 26th of September. So for our programme induction, we tend to hold that the week before. So if I get my calendar up, does that take us to... but I do know that we do encourage you to be in the country, be in Glasgow, also for that international induction week, which is the week before. I was trying to find my calendar, so I'm giving you accurate information. You can find the term dates on the GCU website, which will tell you this specifically. But we definitely start the week of the 26th of September, but induction will be the week before that, with international induction week the week before that.
Mansi, I have already talked about advancing MSK module as well as the human movement, but just to kind of reiterate, human movement is not a rehab-based module. It's an evaluation-based module. So you will be analyzing stuff using EMG, gait lab, movement analysis, so on. And it's mainly for the peripheral joints. So you won't have any rehab-based stuff in it. So the module lead for it is from the podiatry department, and they, along with Ben, one of our lecturer readers from our department, they'll be helping you out. So it's block-based teaching and so on. So there are subtle differences. Whereas when you come to MSK advanced module, it is more spinal based. So cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacroiliac, and we will be dealing with conditions accordingly. And also we will be dealing with advanced stuff which are associated with these particular conditions, what kind of treatments can be done. And it's mostly evidence based. And you will have master classes and external lecturers coming in and doing certain techniques as well. So we kind of do Mulligan's, McKinsey's, but at an advanced level, clinical reasoning level, not at the basic UG level, and Pilates and stuff like that. So you will get to know more when you join in. That's Mansi. And the other question was, is it possible to choose both? So both Neuro and MSK, is that what you mean, Mansi? Was that the question, Mansi? No, if that was a question, no, you are allowed, you need to have a choice between HMMA, MSK, and Neuro Rehab. No, you will have one. You have to choose one between human movement and advanced MSK. Raksha Halagi, that depends on how quickly you answer your forms, and it depends on the cutoff point as well. So we will talk about that when you start your university. But most likely you will be getting a preferred optional module.
Yeah, we'll absolutely try our very best for that. In terms of what the schedule will be, Anushka, this is dependent on the induction activities that are scheduled, but they will be sent out to you. They'll be sent out once you have accepted your offer, and you'll start receiving information from the university. So the international induction and the generic induction activities will come centrally from the university, and there will be different activities on throughout both of the induction weeks. But Artaban and I will be in contact with our students regarding the programme specific induction. So we will get in touch with you to let you know that, so you know in advance.
And it is vital that you attend these induction programs, because lots of information is given out, very useful information, which will help you on a successful master's degree.
Okay, so somebody's also asked me about, can you practice as an assistant until you have HCPC registration? Absolutely. You can work as a band. It's called the bandings in terms of pay scales here in the UK. Bands 2, 3, and 4. So any roles that are bands 2, 3, and 4 are unregistered positions. So you can work in any of those roles, but band 5 tends to require state registration. But you can apply for any of this. There's an assistant practitioner, there's healthcare support worker, there's rehabilitation support worker roles at these bands 2, 3, and 4. You can apply for any of them that don't require HCPC registration, but bands 5, 6 and above will require HCPC registration. But you can work at the bands 2, 3 and 4 without registration. So you can go for one of those posts while you're waiting on HCPC registration. How many classes a week for physio practice? So you will have 60 credits of modules in A and in B, and in dissertation in C. So as I mentioned earlier, you are likely to be on campus twice a week for your modules, but there are a number of hours of work expected in preparation for these classes each week. We do expect you to be working through the material and activities and preparing before you come to class, because we then use that information you've already looked over to apply that to the case studies and things we discuss in class. So we very much require you to have done the work in advance so that you can get the most out of our classes. Okay, so although you might think, well, it's only 2 days on campus, it's not very much work, there's a lot of work expected. These are 30 credit modules. So we're expecting a lot of work in advance.
Krishna, your answer is, it depends on the number of students we get finally to decide the number of students who have been capped for each module. With regard to the optional modules, which comprise of 60 credits, that's 230 credit optional modules which you need to choose. It's a choice between neuro, MSK, and HMMR, one of them. Along with that, you can choose either 2 15 credit modules or the one of the 30 credit modules, which is optional for both groups. So we will explain this better when you come in for induction. So as of now, you can choose between MSK, either MSK, neuro, or HMMR, one of them, and another 215 credit module or another 30 credit module which is available. I hope that makes sense. What is the strength of the program? It depends on the numbers who are yet to. It is still under process, Shruti. Still under process, so we still don't know the final number. But just to give you an insight, last year we had 125 students. So that was last year, but this year it can be more than that, it can be less than that. We really don't know until we get the final numbers, and that is when we'll be able to tell you what your class strength would be.
Yeah, and also students from all over the world as well. You know, some home students here from Scotland, but also students from India, Pakistan, Ghana, Nigeria, right across the world. So a real multicultural bunch. So great to. So I'm hoping that you will all find some new friends here at GCU. So there's a question about the supporting anticipatory care module. So this is delivered, it's suitable for nurses and all allied health professionals, but it's delivered by our nursing colleagues, and it is focusing on the management and anticipatory care of long-term conditions, because obviously lots of the different patients we will work with, whether it's chronic pain conditions, chronic neuro conditions, orthopaedic conditions, have to think about how they manage these conditions. And more people, as they live longer, are having to live with several different conditions at one time. So this module explores kind of policy, theory behind supporting anticipatory care. And we've had a number of physios have undertaken this module and have all really enjoyed it. If you plan to stay here and work in the UK, it would be a very good module to take to help prepare you for some of the patient populations that you might see here in the UK. It's equally applicable, I guess, globally as well, but it's certainly a lot of what we're trying to do here in the UK is preventative care, anticipatory care, to help people to self-manage conditions and things. So it's definitely something that other physios have taken before and have enjoyed. They often take that module alongside the 15 credit applied pathophysiology module. And that gives you the 30 credits there as well. So I've had another question about, can we help people to find like assistant support worker roles? So we can't directly get you these jobs as such, but what we definitely do to help you is we can help you to know where to look on the NHS website. We talk to you about applying for these jobs, how to do it, how to sell yourself, and we talk through interview questions as well with you. So we help you with the application process. We help you with what to do once you get an interview. We're happy once we get to know you to give you a reference as well, you know, so we're here to support you through the journey. We can't specifically get you the jobs, but we can help you with the tools required for you to get yourself these roles. So we will help as much as we can.
And Linkita, I am not aware of an MSc in MSK physiotherapy program at all, which has run in our university.
We've never had that here. What we do have is MSc Advanced Practice in brackets musculoskeletal health on my programme, but that is different to your physio specific programme that you've applied for. We do have a bracketed award on mine. However, what I would say is the mandatory module to get that specific bracketed award is the human movement and musculoskeletal analysis module that Artaban has on this programme. So you can actually still take the same modules that would be on my pathway, but we've never had an MSK specific masters at GCU. You're maybe thinking of another university.
And what Michelle means by her program is she is the module lead for MSc Advanced Practice, but you are joining in MSc Advanced Physiotherapy Practice. So there's a difference between Michelle's program and my program. Do we have a psychologically informed practice option? CBT. Do we have a CBT?
So we're not currently running the module. We were approved at evaluation to include it. We have created the module. We just unfortunately at the moment aren't able to resource it, so we can't run that module at the moment. So it isn't on our optional list. So we try our best to deliver all the options every year, but it's not always possible. So the modules that Artaban has shown you on the slide are the modules we're able to cover. But we had ratified or been approved to run the psychologically informed practice module, but unfortunately we are not able to run it this year. So it isn't available. The options available are the ones that Artaban had on his screen, on his slide.
No, Mahank, you don't need a physiotherapy license of India to practice, so to come in here. No, it's not necessary.
Ansu's mentioned about the distribution, the credit score. So you have to have 180 credits in total to get your MSc in Advanced Physiotherapy Practice, and you will undertake 60 credits in trimester A, so that's your 2 mandatory modules, Advanced Research Methods, Advancing Professional Practice, and you will select 60 credits of optional modules in trimester B, and then your dissertation module in trimester C is also 60 credits as a double module. So you have to successfully complete 180 credits to exit with the full MSc in Advanced Physiotherapy Practice.
And only then are you eligible for your work permit, so your post-study work visa. I think, John, the recording would be available. I think Hannah will let us know how it will be sent out or disseminated to you guys.
Hi everyone, just to let you know, yes, John, the recording will be sent out via email to all of the attendees. It'll just be a link for you to access the presentation and the recording. So you'll have all the information if you haven't been able to listen properly. That's no problem at all. Very conscious that we're getting close to the end of the hour now. So if you have any really final questions, you can pop them in the chat just now. But if not, I just want to say a big thank you to Artaban and Michelle again for your time and for your presentation. I think it was really insightful, and I hope everyone who has attended has felt the benefit of it. If you have any further questions, queries, please feel free to contact inquiries@gcu.ac.uk and we'll get them answered for you. And yeah, I think we just really hope to see you all in September for induction, and you'll be able to meet Michelle and Artaban again. So thanks to everyone. Michelle, Artaban, I don't know if you want to say a quick sign off and we'll head off.
Just very quickly to thank everyone for coming along today, and thank you for all your questions. I wish we could see all your faces. It would be lovely to see faces. It's not as nice talking to a screen, but we'll see you all at induction. If you've got any programme specific queries, we've got our Advanced Physio Practice mailbox email address on the screen here. So as Hannah said, you can get in touch generally about any queries about your application process, but for any programme specific queries, please email us at mscapp@gcu.ac.uk. And thanks very much for joining us today.
I would just like to echo what Michelle's just said. It was lovely to listen to your questions and answer your questions, and I hope that has been useful. And we would love to see you as soon as possible. And we are a happy bunch. We will take care of you, so don't worry. Let all your worries in India and Pakistan and Ghana and wherever you're coming from, Korea, come here, we'll take care of you.
Thanks very much, everyone. Right, we'll head off. Thank you again, and see you all in September.
Thank you. Thanks, Hannah, Claire, and team for arranging. Thank you.
Bye. Bye, everyone.